Hello all. Today we will see gynec lecture, and today we are going to see some small topics or short topics. In that, first one is pelvic pain. Pelvic pain in gynec, that is referring a term for the discomfortness or chronic or acute pain in lower abdomen, especially at the pelvic region, pelvic cavity. As in previous lectures we had seen about PIDs, like pelvic inflammatory diseases, acute and chronic. So it is very easy to understand the pelvic pain. So pelvic pain, that means discomfortness or pain in the lower abdomen or in the pelvic cavity, may be acute and chronic. So pelvic pain is of two types, acute and chronic, acute pelvic pain and chronic pelvic pain. So first of all we will see about acute pelvic pain. First of all I should clear it that pelvic pain, that means pain which is referred or which is particularly located in the lower abdominal cavity or especially at the pelvic area. Whenever there is pain in abdomen, that means we are referring the pain at the upper and middle sections of abdomen. And now in gynec we are seeing the pain at the pelvic region, at the lower abdominal cavity. So pain is situated at the lower section of abdomen. You must be knowing the quadrants of abdomen. So we are seeing the lower quadrants of abdomen for pelvic pain in gynec. So pelvic pain that is of two types, acute and chronic. Now first is acute pelvic pain. Acute pelvic pain is the condition where patient has severe pain in lower abdomen. This pain may be associated with nausea, vomiting, sometimes sweating, palpitations, dyspnea, and signs of shock. Sometimes maybe a distension, hypoxia is associated in severe conditions. So acute pelvic pain refers to severe pain in abdomen along with nausea, vomiting, hypoxia in severe cases, palpitations and dyspnea. Now causes of this acute pelvic pain. First of all, it is acute pelvic pain is mainly because of acute PID. This acute PID, types of acute PID we had seen in previous lectures. So acute PID, that means acute infections of pelvic organ, maybe cervicitis, endometritis, salpingitis or oophorytis. So acute PID is the main and important cause for acute pelvic pain. Second is after in gynec, it is because of the menstrual disorders like dysmenorrhea, that is painful menstruation. So patient may have menstrual history with that. Other causes are appendicitis, that is infection of appendix, inflammation of appendix. Next is UTI, that is urinary tract infection. Next is maybe pancreatitis, maybe intestinal obstruction. So these are non-specific causes or general causes for pelvic pain. First and important is PID, that is gynec cause, and menstrual disorder, that is dysmenorrhea, that is gynecological cause. These are gastric causes or general causes: appendicitis, UTI, peritonitis, pancreatitis, intestinal obstruction. And these are the general causes for acute pelvic pain. Some other causes are after D&C, after abortion, after copper T insertion, after any surgical or minor procedure for gynec and obs. Important is ectopic pregnancy, ruptured ectopic, ovarian cyst, twisted ovarian cyst, sometimes uterine retroversion, inversion, prolapse, but these are associated conditions. But important are these conditions. Sometimes ovarian cyst, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, polycystic ovarian disease, in that ruptured cyst. So these are the causes for acute pelvic pain, and these are the causes which are usually leading to emergency. Except acute PID and menstrual dysmenorrhea, all the other conditions are related with the surgical procedures and need immediate hospitalization. So acute pelvic pain is very important to diagnose and to differentiate. We should differentiate the various causes of acute pelvic pain. Now these are the causes, so we should examine the patient accordingly. whether she belongs to gynec category, whether she must be having any obstetric history, whether she is of surgical history patient, or whether general causes are associated with it. So whenever patient comes with acute pelvic pain, there is sudden pain or severe pain in lower abdominal cavity, and in females usually we should have the we should remind all the causes for acute pelvic pain, and now we should categorize the patient accordingly. So we can go for further investigations and further management. So now these were the causes for acute pelvic pain. Now clinical features of acute pelvic pain. Patient, first of all, she will complain of severe abdominal pain. Pain is situated at the lower abdominal cavity, maybe in iliac fossa, depending on the pathology like salpingitis, appendicitis, ovarian cyst, ruptured cyst. A patient have pain in iliac fossa, or else patient will have pain in the lower abdominal cavity. So there is pain in the lower abdominal cavity. Along with this pain, patient may have nausea, vomiting, patient may have anorexia, patient may have a headache, dizziness, body ache, other maybe general complaints are associated with this. Because of infection, maybe other complaints are seen. If there is infection, patient have increased body temperature, chills, fever with chills. If there is PID, severe PID, endometritis, salpingitis or oophorytis, she may have fever, chills, rigors. Next, patient may have dysuria, that is painful urination, burning urination. If patient have this UTI type of infection, patient may have this type of symptoms. So patient may have burning urination, painful urination, retention, incontinence, urinary complaints are associated. Other complaints are again patient may have if there is any history of abortion, copper T insertion, she will give history according to that. So complaints will be according to disease. So these were the complaints, symptoms from patient. On examination, usually this acute pelvic pain leads to shock. So patient may have hypotension, bradycardia, patient have low pulse rate, patient have decreased temperature. If infection, there is fever, or else patient is having very cold clammy skin, sweating, increased heart rate. Patient shows usually a decreased oxygen level, patient may have dyspnea. So these have general complaints or general signs from patient on examination. Per abdomen, when we palpate the abdomen, we have the tenderness on examination. On inspection, first of all, there may be distension in some condition. If there is ruptured cyst, if there is intestinal obstruction, there is distension of abdomen because there is fluid collection. Endometritis, if there is increased size of uterus, there is distension of abdomen. So inspection is depending on the condition, a patient may have distension of abdomen. On examination, tenderness on touch. Palpation, we can palpate if there is any enlarged mass, any growth, any pus collection, we can palpate the things accordingly. If patient have endometritis, we can palpate uterus. If patient have appendicitis, we palpate the appendix at iliac fossa. If patient have ovarian cyst, we can palpate them. If there is any particular thing which is infected, we can palpate that thing. Now PSPV examination, when we do the PS and PV examination, usually PS examination is recommended because patient is already in pain, so PV examination is not actually advised, but PS examination, if there are discharges, if patient have recent abortion, recent DNC, copper T, patient may have PV bleeding. If patient have ruptured cyst, she may have PV bleeding. So or else if endometritis, salpingitis or cervicitis, she will have offensive white discharge. If infection or discharges can be seen. So that is PSPV examination. Investigations, we do all the routine investigations, basically blood investigation, urine investigation. If patient have infection, we advise for culture, and sonography is usually advised for knowing the exact underlying cause. So we advise USG, and if necessary we do X-ray, CT scan, and CT scan of abdomen usually reveals the things. So these investigations we advise at the first primary level of treatment. Now, after doing these investigations, usually by doing USG or scan of abdomen, picture is very clear. We have the confirmed diagnosis, whether it is ruptured cyst, whether it is any perforation, whether any obstruction in abdominal cavity, or it is sudden occlusion of blood vessels or retroversion of uterus, or anything which is underlying that can be seen on the scan of abdomen and USG. So after confirmation of diagnosis, treatment, management part. And we had seen actually acute pelvic pain or acute conditions are usually leading to immediate treatment or immediate hospitalization. So in this case also, depending on condition of patient, whether she is stable or she is in shock, treatment is decided. If patient is in shock, if patient have low blood pressure, low pulse rate, heart rate is very increased, patient have all signs of shock, so immediate hospitalization of patient is advised. Depending on her condition, immediate IV fluids should be started. Antibiotics are given. Whether there is infection, that has to be decided, but usually line of treatment is fixed. We should start IV fluids, antibiotics, analgesics, and condition of patient is seen. And after stabilization of patient, we decide the particular or confirm a line of treatment according to our diagnosis. If patient have appendix, we will see about the surgical things. If patient have ruptured cyst, we have to advise the patient according to that. So depending on the condition or depending on the underlying cause, further treatment is decided. Basic line of treatment is to maintain and to stabilize her general condition. So we start IV fluids, antibiotics, analgesics, if needed oxygen, and other treatment to maintain her general condition. If severe blood loss is there, we can give her blood transfusion also. And further treatment, if medicinal treatment is required, whether surgical treatment is required, or whatever treatment is required, that has to be decided depending on condition, and further treatment is continued. So that is about acute pelvic pain. Now in chronic pelvic pain means patient will complain of there is chronic pain in lower abdomen. Patient have constant pain in her abdomen. That is called as chronic pelvic pain. Usually this chronic pelvic pain is seen in patients with chronic PID. Now chronic PID, you all know, chronic cervicitis, chronic cervical erosion. Cervicitis is cervical erosion. Then chronic endometritis, that is pyometra, chronic salpingitis, pyosalpinx, chronic oophorytis. So these are basic causes that are very important for, or that are underlying causes for chronic pelvic pain. Usually in gynec, these are the important causes which lead to chronic pelvic pain. So these are the main causes. Other causes are maybe infected causes in abdomen that has to be considered. Other causes for chronic pelvic pain are because of the recent surgery, any cesarean, patient with recent cesarean, patient with recent D&C abortion, any surgical procedure that can lead to pelvic pain. Patient can have dysmenorrhea, especially congestive type of dysmenorrhea, which causes chronic pelvic pain. Other things are endometriosis, adenomyosis. This can also lead to pain in abdomen. Ovarian resistance syndrome, that is a syndrome of ovary which causes pain in abdomen, constant pain in abdomen. So these are main causes. Again, retroversion, prolapse, displacement of uterus, that also leads to pain in abdomen. Uterine fibroid, twisted fibroid or uterine fibroid of large size, that can fibroids with congestion, various types of degeneration of fibroid. We had discussed fibroid in detail, so just go through that. So fibroids of various types of degeneration and congestion that can lead to pelvic pain. Then ovarian cyst, twisted cyst or large cyst, that can also cause pain in abdomen. Then recent IUCD insertion, that also causes pain in some females. These are some causes. Patient with recent chemotherapy, some patient after this chemotherapy treatment for ovarian cancer or uterine cancer also complaints of pain in abdomen. That is, we call it as chronic pelvic pain. Tuberculosis of abdominal cavity or genital tuberculosis also leads to chronic pelvic pain. Intestinal infections, appendicitis, chronic appendicitis, urinary tract infection, these are again other causes for pelvic pain. Irritable bowel syndrome, that is also one of the cause. Appendicitis, diverticulitis, in some females, constipation, very common cause for pelvic pain. Cystitis, renal calculi, various types of calculi also lead to pelvic pain. Other things are sometimes it is psychological. Some patient may have pain in abdomen after delivery, after abortion, after any surgery. Patient complains of pain in abdomen. That are psychological reasons. So that is about chronic pelvic pain. Now complaints of patient. Patient will complain clinical features. Patient will complain of there is dull aching pain in lower abdomen. Pain is usually very dull in nature. Patient have this constant dull pain or discomfortness in her abdomen, especially at the lower abdominal cavity and pelvic cavity. This pain is usually not associated with nausea, vomiting, fever, because infection is not usually associated with chronic type of pain. Infection is usually associated with acute pain. So fever, chills and other severe things are usually seen at the acute pelvic pain, but in chronic pelvic pain patient usually have this chronic pain or dull aching pain or discomfortness in abdomen. Rarely nausea, vomiting, sweating, palpitations, dyspnea, other things are associated, but important complaint is pain in abdomen, lower abdominal pain. Along with this, patient may have urinary discomfortness or urinary disorders like dysuria, painful urination, burning of micturition. Some patient may have constipation along with that. Sometimes nausea and vomiting. On examination, general signs are usually normal for chronic pain unless and until there is any severe underlying cause. General examination, BP, pulse rate, temperature, everything is normal. In few cases, patient is in shock, so shock signs can be seen. Per abdomen also usually there is on inspection it is normal. On palpation there is tenderness on touch, but nothing can be palpated. I mean there is no large growth or any abnormal mass we can palpate in chronic thing. Rarely we can palpate appendix, chronic appendix if it is large size. Even we palpate the pyometra. If uterine infection is there, pus collection, we can palpate that pyometra or pus filled uterus. Salpingitis, pyosalpinx, if tubes are very enlarged, if they have tubo-ovarian abscess or pelvic abscess or mass, we can palpate that. In these conditions, we can palpate the abnormal mass. In conditions like endometriosis, adenomyosis, ovarian cyst, large cyst, fibroid, large size fibroid, we can palpate the things, or else usually there is tenderness. PSPV examination, we can do PV examination in this chronic type. PSPV examination, we can see discharges if there is PID, endometritis, cervicitis and salpingitis. Offensive discharges can be seen on examination. If endometritis, chronic endometritis, pyometra, we can palpate the large uterus. If salpingitis, pyosalpinx, we can palpate the tubes at the posterior fornix. If fibroid, we can palpate the fibroid. If ovarian cyst, we can palpate those. So depending on the cause, we can palpate the things on PSPV examination. Again, in investigation, we have to advise routine investigation. We have to advise for culture if we conclude of infection. We can advise blood culture, urine culture, cervical culture. Investigations are accordingly like if chronic cervicitis is there, if we see the shiny cervix with discharges, we advise the investigations for cervicitis, that is pap smear, cervical smear, biopsy. If we diagnose about endometriosis, we can advise laparotomy, salpingitis and other things. So investigation actually depend on the cause, but general investigation we advise all routine investigation, blood culture, urine culture, and we advise USG and we advise scan, CT scan of abdomen. These 4 investigations will clear the picture and we can conclude the diagnosis. So after confirmation of diagnosis, usually these types of patients required antibiotic treatment. Some patient required immediate hospitalization if there is pyometra, there is salpingitis, there is ruptured cyst, twisted fibroid, twisted ovarian cyst. Those patients require a ruptured appendix. Those patients required immediate hospitalization. So depending on condition of patient, stabilization or general management of patient is done, and further treatment is depending on the cause. What surgical procedure has to be done or whether patient has to be kept on medicine treatment, that is decided on the underlying cause, which is cleared on the scan of abdomen and USG. If there is pyometra, we have to remove that pus from uterus, so we have to do D&C. If salpingitis, pus collection in the fallopian tubes, we have to do laparoscopy or laparotomy to remove that pus collection or to remove that tube from that side. So if appendix is there, chronic appendix, perforated appendix, we have to advise for appendicectomy. If there is twisted ovarian cyst, if there is twisted fibroid, we have to immediately do for a laparotomy or laparoscopy. So depending on the underlying cause, we advise the further treatment. So this is about acute and chronic pelvic pain. Different causes we had studied, and investigation and management is more or less similar. Now we will see second short topic, that is called as low backache, lower backache. We had seen just now pelvic pain, that is pain in the abdomen, lower abdominal cavity. Now we are seeing the backache, pain at the back region. Lower backache is frequent complaint of women in gynec practice, and the important causes for this reasons are maybe because of the and main causes because of the delivery. Multiple deliveries or multiple pregnancies are leading to this backache, or surgical procedures in gynec like D&C, delivery, cesarean, or any other surgeries related to fibroid, cyst and other things, laparoscopic surgeries. Those are the main causes for backache. Also backache is seen with menstrual disorders. Patient with dysmenorrhea may have this pain at the back region. Patient with menorrhagia, DUB, these types of patient also have a backache. With the excessive bleeding, patient may have backache. So menstrual disorders are also the cause for backache. Also it is seen at the pelvic region. Whenever there is pain at the pelvic region because of the various types of causes like PID and other things, endometriosis, adenomyosis, fibroid, patient may have backache also. Along with the pain at the pelvic cavity, she may have complaint of backache, lower backache. Important causes for backache are surgical causes, and other causes are uterine displacement like retroversion. As in retroversion we had seen, there is bending backward of uterus, so uterus is totally displaced to backward direction, so patient have severe backache along with this retroversion. Patient have with prolapse, uterine prolapse, because of the ligament problem or neurological problem, she may complain of backache. So retroversion and uterine prolapse are two important conditions. Those are associated with back pain. PIDs, especially chronic PIDs, those are associated with backache. Endometriosis, again this is the condition which is enlargement which causes abnormal implantation of uterine endometrium, and if there is implantation of this endometrial layer on the ligaments, that causes pain at the back region. Other things are ovarian tumor, ovarian cyst, large uterine fibroid, abnormal mass in uterus that causes the pressure on the back region and leads to backache. Other things are malignancies, various types of malignancies in pelvic cavity like malignancy of uterus, malignancy of ovary, that also lead to lower back pain. Clinical features are patient will have this backache, continuous pain in her back region, especially at the sacral region or lumbar region, and she may give history of repeated pregnancies, repeated abortion, deliveries, cesarean, any surgical or any operative history she will give, or she may have this fibroid, prolapse, retroversion, ovarian cyst, or menstrual disorders. So she may give history of these types of diseases or these types of surgeries. On examination, we should exclude the orthopedic cause first of all. In gynec, there should not be any orthopedic reason. We are not considering the orthopedic reason in that. So for that we have to do X-ray and other thing. But for our examination, patient will have, there is tenderness on the back region and other reflexes are also decreased. And investigation, we investigate first of all X-ray and MRI. For exclusion of these orthopedic reasons, we should exclude the orthopedic reason by doing X-ray and MRI. If there are any orthopedic cause, we have to treat her accordingly. Now, after excluding of the orthopedic reason, we investigate her according to our gynec practice, USG, and if necessary, CT scan and MRI. Depending on that, we come to know the cause, whether it is a fibroid, whether it is a retroversion, whether it is a prolapse, whether it is any abnormal mass in pelvic cavity, if it is a malignancy, if it is a large tumor. So we come to know the exact reason for backache. So after investigation, management is basically, management starts with the diagnosis. So after confirmation of diagnosis, we give our treatment. If there is no particular cause, if there is no retroversion, no prolapse, nothing is there, just it is because of the previous surgeries or previous deliveries, abortion, we should give her painkillers, proper exercise, proper diet. Important is excessive weight or increased weight in female also leading factor of this type of backache. So if there is excessive weight, we have to advise her proper diet, proper exercise, and other things are advised depending on the cause. So treatment depends on the cause. Basically we have to give analgesic painkillers, either oral tablet form or injectable forms. In severe condition, IV analgesics are given. Depending on her weight, we have to advise for her weight reduction. Proper exercise are advised, and treatment, further treatment according to cause. If it is a prolapse, if it is a retroversion, if it is ovarian cyst, fibroid, if malignancy, treatment is decided on that diagnosis.